Welcome back, everybody, to the episode of the Legion Lads. I'm your host, JR, and today we got Jose and Nick. What's going on, guys?
Nothing much. Nothing new happened.
What about
Hey, we
you?
let Nick out of the cage.
Yeah, I'm back.
Um, so do you want to give a shout out to Legends Comics? Roman and Rob threw a wonderful tournament this past week, and Justin from Roll Better Dice won first place, snuck it from me. So congratulations, Justin, and thank you, Rob and Roman, for throwing an awesome tournament. Had a lot of fun. But we are going to dive into some news that dropped. We were going to do an episode covering the tournament, how we felt about it, and how Nick cheated against me. But we're going to do that next podcast. So this one's all about the news that dropped. Uh, now, I don't know. Does anybody know where this Legion stuff? Because this is all leaked information, correct?
No, it came from
It's from
Gamma.
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 Okay,
It
so well then why
yeah.
didn't we get like an official like?
It's
uh,
it's an expo. It's like a vendor expo, right? It's a vendor expo. This happened last year too. This happens every year, and it's not for us. It's for
People?
um yeah, it's for vendors or companies. I forget. I forget exactly who it's for, but it's not for us to go to. And
Okay.
these leaks
It's not for
happened
us
last
simpletons.
yeah. It's for so these leaks happened last year too. This the same way, right? Little things came out.
Mm.
Um,
What
so
was it
yeah,
last year? Do you remember?
I don't, but it did. I remember this happening before too.
Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought it was a Adepticon because I remember everybody snapping photos of all the new
Well,
stuff that was
no, yeah,
from.
they'll do the reveals at Adepticon, too. They'll have now that they'll have a whole panel, and there will be like actual players there, right? They'll have the players in the room for that. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, I wasn't expecting this. I'm super stoked for a lot of things that were announced. It's more or less kind of reboot of Legion, it seems. So we'll go over everything. The first thing I want to go over though is we finally got the images of Padawan Ahsoka Tano and Commander Ahsoka. Uh, Announcement date March 2025. Is that you guys think that means they're gonna reveal like the stats?
Yeah, I think we'll see the card at
Mhm.
Adepticon. Yeah,
And
for
then the
sure.
release date is in May. How do you guys feel about
Hmm.
this?
I don't play Gower anymore, so screw it.
I mean, but you have Gar, so you
I'm gonna
can.
buy it. I'm gonna buy her. My hope is Commander Sokatano for standard Gar. But I hope that little Padawan Ahsoka is going to be like a detachment for Anakin or like a counterpart for Anakin. I don't because I know I give Gar a lot of shit saying that they don't take a lot of points. They abuse a lot of it, but like I would want her tied to Anakin somehow. Like not so much like Grogu, but like. I don't know, yeah, like a counterpart, like Grogu, like ID10, and just have
No,
her do something else.
she's
I
she's
Probably
not
mean,
she's not gonna
now.
be a counterpart. I think she's gonna have
Yeah,
teamwork.
she'll be like more like K2SO, like a detachment. She'll be like K2SO, right?
yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm maybe hoping that Rebel Ahsoka would be able to use the command card she come with.
yeah, yeah. I predict that she's gonna have only one command card. Well, the operative version. I don't know if they're gonna do like three command cards for the commander. I mean, I assume this is all gonna be one box, right? So maybe there is gonna be three command cards, but from what we've seen from operative, they usually get one now.
Well, but there is going to be a commander version, right? Or no?
No, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there being a commander version with only one command card. That would be totally new if that's the case. It's got to be
Isn't
three command
isn't
cards.
isn't Wicket a commander with one command card?
No, Wicked
No,
has three command
we get
cards.
it's three. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got three.
all new
I didn't have
operatives
one.
other than I think Fifth Brother only have one command card. That came out in 2.6 or like when FF AMG had it, right? Aside from Boba.
You mean prior to 2.6?
Yeah, just like a little bit. Like there's a little time for like Sun Fact has one. I think Seven Sister only has one. I could be wrong in some of them, but it seems like which honestly I'm okay with because the game is only 5 rounds. and so you don't need that many command cards, right? You don't need that many options. And usually the 1 and 2 pips are getting played a lot earlier than the 3 pips, right? I feel like 3 pips are kind of thrown away at this point.
I would like more options though. I don't. I sure hope that that's not a trend. I don't want all operatives coming with one command card,
Yeah.
and I don't think we'll see that. I mean, that's only been one command card has only been for, I would say, lesser characters
Bad Batch is one
slash
command card,
yeah,
right?
which was a squad, which they're not really a main character. They were a squad, so I could see that. But Mando has 3 command cards, right? He's an operative. He was late. He was right on that cusp of AMG before, right when they so
The
the
three's not including the hand thing, right? That's you're not
he,
counting the hand.
he has 4 counting the hand
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
okay.
So I don't think that's necessarily a thing that all operas will have one command card. I think just lesser, I say lesser, not mean that in a bad way, but lesser character would have one. But like a big character, like so for example, if they came out with a a Leia operative, like Leia operative will have 3 command cards. I could imagine that a new Leia operative model having
Only have
one
one.
command card.
That makes sense.
If you
But
get to use Commander Leia's cards, then it wouldn't be too much of a hit.
well, and, but still, I think they still would make
Let's be
3.
honest.
Yeah.
A Leia operative would already be off to a better start than regular Commander
Yeah.
Leia.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yes. I mean, if they make a commander so they got to give her 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they will change the Rebel ones to not be able to use the Rebel command cards in Gar, because that's like kind of when she's Fulcrum and like out. But
No, they definitely can't use the rebel ones in Gar because they already put rebel only on them.
oh, did it? Okay, good.
That
Good.
was that was the
It's like
change.
Maul, right? Like Maul
Yeah.
can't use
Yeah.
That
his all
was
six in regular CIS
yeah.
or yeah.
When 2.6 came out, they remade her command cards, and that was the only actually thing they changed was they made them rebel only.
Rebel. Then that
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing that got announced is all of the factions are gonna have starter boxes. So let me go ahead and read this. It says, in the refreshed Star Wars Legion, players will begin their player journey with starter boxes for each faction: the Galactic Empire, the Rebel Alliance, the Separatists, and the Galactic Republic. These starter boxes focuses on the core identity of each faction, including collections of miniatures organized into units and all the dice, cards, tokens, and merging tools needed to play. That's important because we were speculating if we're going to get the tools or not. So that's cool. Players can pair this product with any other faction unit set to customize their army for recon games. That's interesting.
I think that's a new skirmish. That has to be like between the starter
Mhm.
boxes.
Yeah.
You think so? You guys think it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a new 600-point skirmish game. I bet.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna get onto. Is players can pair, well, yeah, or build a large point army for bigger battles. Single player starters will include ready to play 600 points skirmish armies and are made
Yep.
to be ready to start off the shelf with no additional purchase for new players.
Mhm.
That's big. So, how do you guys feel about this news? Because I don't that 600 point that you just said, Nick, and they just said makes me think that skirmish is supposed to be played on a 600, right?
Well,
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
it is it changed? Did they change that or is it? Because like if we go to the
it's
rules
still
now for
five.
skirmish,
It's still
is it?
500. It's still 500.
Yeah, I think right now, right? To be honest, I haven't looked at the skirmish rules
Yeah, so
in
it is. It's
how
still
many
five.
years?
It's still 500. But the recon mission, I think, is meant to be 600, so people with starter boxes can start playing out the gate.
Mhm.
I think it's special. The 600 is especially for that recon mission. But before you ask Nick how he feels, you also have to mention the release window because you can't say how you
Oh
feel without
yeah,
the
yeah,
release
yeah.
window.
So yeah, before we start speculating and get into it, um, the pre-order date is summer 2025. The
Ugh,
release date is fall 2025.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there goes the summer boom.
Yeah. And I don't want to I know this is, and I don't want to
It
be,
hurts him so bad to be negative. You can see
I
it.
don't want to be negative or anything. And I know all of this takes time, and this is a large rollout, and this is a large undertaking. But gosh, I still don't know why 2.6 came out in July
Early.
of last year, and these starter boxes now aren't coming out till
Well,
fall.
Do
well,
you
think
think they
about it.
should have launched it all in fall?
Well, think. Hold on, hold on. I want to play devil's advocate on that because let's be honest. Before July, the game was getting stagnant. We were all feeling the burn, right? And then July hit, and it kind of revamped us and like wanting to play more games, even though it wasn't a finished product. Do you think if they waited to announce this a year later, yeah, you would your boredom of Legion would have died? Like you would have been like, I'm out.
I'm not saying wait a whole year, but I'm saying I shouldn't have to wait more than a year. So if it was going to take till fall to get this, then maybe they should have told us end of last year. Like a lead up time's fine, but a 14-month lead up time, I don't know. Now, I'll say this. So really, I guess technically, I'm getting everything in a month. Supposedly, I'm getting the rest of the game in a month. I'm going to get the rest of the cards in a print and play at the end of March at Adepticon, I think. So I'm still hanging on to that hope that yes, the Star Box come in the fall, the card packs I haven't talked about come in the fall, but I'm getting the print and play for the rest of the cards that they said are coming, like my Jin Urso
He's holding on.
at Adepticon in a month. So if I get that, then I am okay with this release date.
Well,
Hmm.
I think this is good. Honestly, me and John were talking about this, and like, if I was to get into Legion now, or back fall when this gets released, picking up a CIS starter pack box that has 600 points in it. What are the Corset only had what like 300 points? Like this is
Well,
huge.
300
I would
points
love
per
it.
side.
Sure. You
So
normally had to split it.
600.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you pretty much had 300. You didn't even have enough to play the full game, let alone skirmish, right? This
The
right
minis
off
were
the
also
bat.
cheaper. The minis were also the product itself way cheaper at that time. You could get a
That's
commander for like 20, 50, what, 18, 20 bucks. You can pick up a core of rebels for like 30. It was way cheaper. Extremely cheaper.
Everything's gonna go up though. That's natural. Um, I totally agree. This starter box is way better. These starter boxes are better because
yeah,
they're single faction. That's just flat out
yeah,
better. But it's been a long time for things have been out of stock for a while, right?
Yep.
It's hard for a new player to get into Legion as far as walking into store and buying stuff off the shelf, right? You could probably find stuff secondhand and get in the game, but it's tough. It's tough. That's intimidating for a new player to get into a game, right? To do that. So that's I mean we've been talking about this, right? It's hard to get new players in the game when it's not on the shelf for them to buy. And we thought, oh, just a few more months and it'll be on the shelves. But now it's going to be a few more months after we thought it was going to be there. So it's just longer than what we thought. So it's a little disappointing that it's not as soon as we
I
thought it was going to be.
I am not going to be shocked if fall rolls around and they don't get the monetary turnout that they're thinking they're gonna get. Because regardless about like new players getting into the game, like we've seen so many armies go up for sale. Nick himself has sold an army to a new player. So there you look around, you can get into the game reasonably. But my thing was like the transition into 2.6 was rough on top of the lack of product on and that those two things alone making it hard to build excitement, get people pumped. And we were looking at it like even Rome was looking at it from the term perspective of wait for the summer, everything will drop, we'll have a Legion boom, and we'll be off to the races running into, the end of the season. And now these boxes come out, and two things that are bothering me is that it's in fall, so we already have people, Legion is dying, Legion is dead. I don't really care. I'm gonna play regardless, like I told JR. But I mean, you still have that window of immense drag until then, and even then, the whole even reading Edward's thoughts on this stuff alone, the whole one of Edward's biggest buy-ins was army wise in an army game. This is the most affordable game to get into. That's what was one of the big selling points. That makes me wonder how expensive these starter boxes are going to be. Because back in the day, you could split a starter box and then pick up two more core and a special forces or two special forces and roughly be 100 and a little $100, maybe a little bit more. These boxes, are going to be more expensive than if you pieced it together back then. And so I think as much as it's really cool to have 600 points, let's go. I mean, it's going to depend on where that price point lands because, yes, things get expensive, but let's face it, a lot of people out there don't have that type of auxiliary money just to throw into something and get into it right away.
Well, let's speculate. How much do you guys think this is going to be? My guess, I think each box is going to be 150.
Ugh.
Um, they, mm, yeah, that might be it. Possibly they might be cheaper, maybe just because there's no terrain in them.
It
Sure.
would
I just
have to be cheaper.
just because the Shatterpoint box was that much, and the MCP box is around that, and there's
I have a lot of terrain, a lot
a
of
lot of terrain,
plastic.
but
Well,
yeah,
but they also have less models, right? Where
they
this one
do.
has a lot more models. And we'll get into Notorious. They did an interview with the Wheels, and they pretty much said in their announcement or the interview that they want to go in the direction of a box is gonna that if can afford a super squad, it's gonna be the miniatures are gonna be in the box. Stormtroopers are super squad, Rebels are super squad. So I feel like
Mhm.
there's gonna be a lot of miniatures in these boxes.
Yeah, so essentially there's 20, well, not 20, what there's about 10 troopers then in each core then, right? So
Right.
there's about 20 core, 20 models in each box, right? Then
Hmm.
plus the special forces, plus your commanders.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it's 150, which actually that's not that bad of a deal. Because if you think about that, even in old prices, that would be four core boxes, a special four box plus two commanders. That's
Right.
actually not a bad price. That would be about what you would have paid even under with the old cheap prices, as we would say. So that's actually not a bad price for 150.
Yeah. What do you think, Jose? You think it's gonna be around 150?
I'm not gonna be shocked if it's 150, but I'm not from a new player perspective, like I wouldn't be thrilled at it being 150. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna buy the CIS box because I need more B1s and I want that Grievous sculpt. Um, but yeah, just like I don't know, man. The splitting the core boxes, the original starter boxes is just like what I thought would, was more affordable and you go in with a buddy, whatever. Going in with your buddy to get, your Legion career started, career. Going in with your buddies to get your Legion career started is a lot more palatable than dropping, after taxes and everything like 165, 170. That's also not including then you got to buy your paints if you don't already have that, just a bunch of other side stuff like I
But
just and then print and play, and then they got a card pack, card packs on the way that we'll cover too. It's just a lot of costs. I mean, the prediction we're getting to the card pack, but the prediction for the card pack was like 30 to $50 per faction. So you tack on the 165, let's just say 165 after taxes, whatever. Then you gotta throw in another 30 to $50 for a card pack. Like you're way over the realm of what traditionally getting into Legion was at the point of
I
when people first started getting in.
I mean, but even with that though, so yeah, splitting a core box was cheaper, but you had half the models. So you're spending more, but you're getting twice the amount of models. And I mean, any miniatures game, you're spending $150 minimum to get into, and most miniature games you're actually spending a lot more. So I mean, if you're playing a miniature game, you're gonna spend money. I think that's just just
But
what it is now. Up upfront
upfront
starting,
starting, that's huge.
I
that's
think it's
cheap though. That's
yeah,
cheap.
I agree with
That's
Nick.
cheap.
It's because think
That's
about it.
cheap.
The game is played at 1,000 points. If we go back to the old starter boxes, you only get at least, I don't even think it's 300 points, but we're going to be generous and say it's 300 points. So now you got to come up with 700 points, right? That's going
Mhm.
to be well over 150. This gets you 600 points, and then all you need is 400 points, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm with Nick. I think this is going to be cheaper and more affordable for people to get an
Yeah.
army. Because even then you could just play your 600 points with your buddy. You don't have to go out and buy the full thousand. But
Yeah.
But you're gonna because you're getting into a
Sure.
game.
right,
Sure.
And that for
Yeah.
those 400 points is gonna be an additional like
the
one
700 was additional back
something.
when you first started, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
What?
I also
No.
Yeah,
I
because
just
if you bought the
Operatives and
core,
commanders were sub $20.
no, I'm not
So
saying
sub
700 bucks. I'm saying 700 points worth of
there are
stuff.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the card packs, I don't think the card packs will be that. They won't be 50. I don't think so. Everything I've seen so far with the card packs, what I've paid for MCP and what I paid for Shatterpoint, the card packs are pretty well costed.
well,
I've
yeah.
yeah
Well, no, I was gonna say Nick was out. We'll get to the car packs here soon, but
yeah
I honestly think the car packs. I might be wild for saying this. Are gonna be like 10 bucks.
no, there'll be more than that.
No,
There'll be more
you're
than that.
Well,
dumb.
No,
what,
not
what do you
gonna
pay
that.
now? What do you pay for Shatterpoint? And
25, 30?
25, yeah, 25, 30, it depends. Yeah.
But
Um,
you get a good
yeah,
portion.
you get a lot of cards. Yeah, it's gonna be everything you need.
but
Um, yeah.
But before we move on to the card back, because that's what we're going to cover next, is one, I love the art on these guys.
It's not finalized.
It's not
Will said
finalized.
on Will said on Discord that all the art images that were shown is not the finalized art. Just people
It's
were saying that they saw things on there that aren't in the boxes.
like what?
And just like somebody had said, was it one of the things had, what was it? Had like a ARF trooper or something like that. It was a clone box, and then
I
he
don't see
just
no art
basically said
trooper.
basically that the art on there isn't finalized. It's just what they put out there for the gamma. He also explained that the bent lightsaber is also that lightsaber's metal. It's not plastic. It's basically so they could speed paint everything to show at gamma. So the bending was part of like it being traveled and stuff. He said the real
Mm.
lightsaber plastic is gonna be not droopy.
Well, from what I saw from like the little demo and then the art for these boxes, other than the vehicles, it kind of screams what's going to be in the box. And I kind of like that because you kind of know what you're getting, right? In Empire, you get Vader, Stormtroopers, and Scout
They showed a
Troopers.
Scouts.
Callus model though.
No, true. But they also, and
So there's that.
yeah, I don't know if that'll be in the. Wow, that'd be kind of cool if that was in the
That was
box.
a display. They were displaying the factions, the faction boxes, because somebody pointed out the Wookiees. They were like, did they upgrade the number of Wookiees on, in the box or on the card? And then they chimed in saying that no, this was just a display photo for the thing. And in one of the display photos, you saw a new sculpt of Callus. So,
I think they're just showing off all the new models because remember they said we were going to get a new Lando, a new Callus, right? So yeah,
but why put him in the faction photos?
I think they're showing them off, right?
Because the Wookiees do
Yeah,
come in the box.
yeah,
Well, we don't know that for sure, but yes, like on the Rebel box. It shows the Wookiees, the Rebel Troopers, and Luke.
Mhm.
Which honestly, I love that. I think that's awesome. My only gripe is that like the Republic has Obi-Wan, Infantry, and then Commandos. CAS just has Grievous and some B1s. That'd be hilarious if all we're getting in the CAS one is Grievous and a bunch of B1s. That's it.
There's got to be something else in there. There's
The
something else.
art's not finished. I would be
There's
color
yeah.
me color
There,
me shocked if you don't, because the other box is against special forces. So
yeah,
color me
there's
shocked if you don't get at least one BX unit and two droidicas.
or Magna or something,
Because
right? Yeah.
600 points in
Well,
CIS is gonna look a lot bigger
yeah. Well,
than 600 points in other stuff.
I think Nick is right. I think it's gonna be Magna because Grievous has the Entourage Magna Guard, so
Hmm.
it makes sense for B1s and Magnus to be in there.
Oh, well, then I gotta buy that box anyways because I don't own a single
Yeah.
Magna.
Magnus are
Why
so good.
why did I originally didn't think I was gonna buy these boxes, but now I think I
You
have
want the
to.
Twi'leks, don't you?
No, now I think I have to buy a box
Why?
because I think this is the only way that I can get official POIs
Is that?
and
Did
a
they say that?
well, it said it comes with all the tools that I need to play the game, right?
Sure, sure.
So I believe this is the only way I can get official POIs. I
Do the
believe
official POIs even matter? Because they do that stupid post where, hey guys, make your own POIs out of
I
the
want
old stuff that you can't use
I
anymore.
want official POIs. I think it's the only way, unless it's in the card, but I think it's the only way I get official primary, secondary, and a mission cards. I think it's the only way I get a half ranged tool. I want it. So if I have to spend $150 to get 6
Six-
punch out cardboard POIs, I'll do it.
They could at least make them hard
Nick
plastic. If
Nick
they're
just
making you pay
needs
that much for a box,
Nick
they need
just
to make them
needs
hard
to
plastic.
fund the Legion lads on all of its escapades because he's paying just for POIs at this point.
Well, no, because look at they gave us the POS half range tool that was cardboard. If we're paying I'm gonna say 160.
As
We're paying
150.
one if we're paying no taxes. If we're paying 160, 165 for these core boxes, they better the half range tool better not be punch out. It better be hard
it's gonna
plastic.
it's gonna be punch out.
And
No, actually,
POIs better be hard plastic because it makes no sense to have your range tools be hard plastic and the half range not hard plastic.
actually, I agree. I agree with Jose. I think it is hard. I think it will be hard plastic because I could be wrong. I think in the rule book there's a picture of it as hard plastic in one of the photos.
Does
The
it? Do
POIs?
you think they'll make it? Do you think they'll
No,
make it attachable to the actual like a range
no, I don't
ruler?
think so. Not the POIs, but the half range tool. I don't think
I'm
it was
talking about the half range.
attachable.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like it would be smart for them because I know they like the little flat, stupid tool. But if you just did a half range piece to add on to your range tool, because to be honest, when you do the range and a half, it kind of sucks because your measuring tool is like straight and then it bows out. So when you put the half, and I'm being like a little prick about it, but when you put the half range on top, like it's hard to make that exactly straight and center where you need it. If you just have a half range that plugs into your other range tools already, then you don't got to worry about that.
yeah. Page 25 in the rule book, there's a picture of a plastic half range that looks just like the range tools.
Oh, hold
So
on.
it does
I gotta
plug
find
in.
this.
It would plug in then,
Page
right?
page 25 of the rule book.
Does
So
it plug?
I assume we're getting that.
Does it
It's
plug
in
in? Does it
it's
look like
I
it
mean,
plug?
it looks like it can. I mean, it's exactly the same size and shape of the range tools.
This is why we let
So
Nick out of the cage, people, because he's just in
so
his cage looking at all this stuff before he gets on.
Well,
so
what I really want, and I've been thinking about doing this myself, is the range tool that enters into the Rangers, all the range tools, so you don't have to like have a separate
That's what
tool
I'm
for it.
saying.
well
That
that's
half range tool
yeah,
would slot in.
it looks like it might do that possibly. So I will pay $150 for that.
Plus tax, 160.
Um, yeah, if that would be cool. I would be down to have that tool if that was the case as well.
And I guess I'll get a Luke and some core and some Wookiees with
A
this.
really cool looking Luke. And a real cool looking Leia.
The Luke does look really cool. The
Yeah.
problem is the model stinks. The card stinks. That
Just use him with OP Luke card.
he's terrible.
I got my speeder Luke that I use as every Luke I want to use because it's the coolest mod. It's the coolest looking one. The orange jumpsuit. I love that model.
We're gonna get into that because of what they said, right?
Mhm.
But we'll get into that later when we get to the interview that was on Notorious Scandal. But let's cover the card packs. So
All right, card
I
packs.
was I was
Oh,
really hoping these were gonna be $10 because
No, not $10.
holy card
boo.
packs, guys. There's gonna be a lot of card packs. So let me go over those for the audience.
I love card packs. I'll pay
Oh,
whatever they want.
oh my
He wants
dick.
the card
Pay whatever
war.
they want. I'll pay whatever they want. I'll buy all the card packs. Don't
I
don't don't give me a chore. I don't need an errand. I don't need to go to a store and print stuff out. Give me a card pack. I hate print and play. I'll pay whatever you want. Let me buy your cards.
You hear that,
Well,
AMG? You got people like
AMG
Nick.
just like this guy's got to pay off our debt.
Money.
Well, let's go over what they announced for the card pack. So there's going to be a universal card pack. It includes all universal upgrades in the game, updated to the most current rules. Required purchase for all players, or yeah, it said required players for all players existing and new. This should be the first purchase for a player after purchasing a starter kit.
It's gonna be all the big cards, right? That you can. So we'll
Mhm.
have to do. We'll get rid of. We'll be able to burn the little mini cards.
Yeah, yeah. Which I assume that one's going to be big, right? That one's going to probably be a little bit more pricier than the rest of them because it's going to have all the neutral upgrades. Going to have
You might need multiple packs, to be honest. Some
nope, no,
upgrades.
because we'll get to that.
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We'll
yeah.
get to
I
that.
hate that. I
No,
hate that.
I
Okay,
love that. I love, but we'll get
I'm
to
gonna
it.
buy multiple packs. You
Okay,
hear that,
well,
AMG?
okay.
Douchebags.
The AMG is just looking at you guys as cash cows because you could just like, yeah, buying stuff for just little
I
things.
pay for it with your money, so it's not hurting me.
That's true. That's a valid point. Next is the unit card pack. Now, this is faction specific, contains all unit cards and all unit specified upgrades cards for one faction. So those that play all the factions, you're screwed because you're gonna have to buy a pack for each and every one of them.
Especially if you run the bounty hunters and all the side pieces, because
Mhm.
those bounty hunter cards are in their specific uh army factions. So Mando would be in Rebels, Boba would be in Empire, then you'd need that for you need him for Rebels. No, you need so Boba, I all the bounty hunters basically. You need whatever faction they're in, you have to buy that to get their specific faction card to
Well, no,
use, is what I
because
was.
there is a mercenary card pack.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't think you need to buy that specific
Yeah.
of the
You just need to
faction.
burn that by the mercenary one. The mercenary
Yeah,
has all the mercenaries.
yeah. So that's important to know because this says faction,
Okay,
but
that
they
makes sense.
they clearly show a mercenary pack, so it's just like
So
that
they're so Shadow Collective's a faction now. Cool.
well, the mercenary is a faction. Not Shadow Collective mercenary.
No, mercenary is a card pack.
There you go. There you
Nick will
go.
not give it to you, JR.
And then the last
Papa
card
Dog.
pack is command card pack. So this is all the command cards for that one particular faction, which yeah, this is gonna be pretty pricey for people that play multiple armies. And playing one army, right? Because you gotta buy at least 3 card packs right off the bat.
But
I gotta buy all of
then,
them.
but then at the very end, the important part that you
Or
technically
wait.
but the important part at the end, you technically don't have to buy any of them.
That's correct.
But or also you could probably buy them cheaper on Etsy.
Well, or just don't buy them at all. You can print and play all of them.
Yeah, that's important to note is all of the card pack stuff is all print and play, so you don't even have to waste your money. It's just those that want to have a card. Pretty much it.
Nick doesn't want chores, but then promotes chores.
Yeah.
Typical.
How do you guys feel about this? You guys enjoy it? I know Nick already voiced his love for this. Jose, are you on board with this? Are you down?
I love the card pack idea because I love cardboard. I'm with Nick. I give me all the cardboard. Um, I just don't want them to follow the steps of the other card packs. You remember when those cool upgrades like Burst of Speed came out and Emerging Transponders and all these other card packs, and then a month later they're out of stock and nobody could get them.
Yeah.
I don't care that you can print and play. So anybody's gonna hit me with that, you can keep pushing. But if they're gonna offer these card packs, please, for the love of God, AMG. I know we're gonna get into why you don't need multiples, but keep this stuff in stock. Don't let it become card pack Legion 1 and 2 where
Oh,
we
it's going to
had
be.
to
It's
where
going to
we
be.
get where we had to hand out things we weren't using, like my Sonic charges to Edward, because he couldn't buy the pack because they weren't in stock anymore. So keep them in stock. Please print enough. If you're gonna give me 1,000 different cards and like 75% of them are in a different language, you can keep these cards on in stock, please.
Nah, there's always going to be a shortage because it's going to have they have a certain limit they produce. Then they got to get them to the people. They got to distribute them, and then
Then don't give me the
I
other language. Turn
I
those other language cards into English cards that come to America.
I
uh,
don't think there will be a shortage. I don't think there will be because this is a new launch, and I have not seen any shortages with any of their other launches with their other games.
what was I going to say about that? Because Nick, you play most of the games from AMG,
Yeah.
and I was wondering, oh, okay, so I'm with you guys. I would probably buy the card pack because it's the new 2.6 cards and everything. But as you know, this is a living game that's always consistently changing. So they most likely will change something on the unit cards. Will
Boo.
do they always like reprint it to have the new stuff on it when they update it? And if they do you always rebuy it?
So they've done a mixture. So like for MCP, for example, um, they've done a mixture. They have released card packs with new characters errata when they've made changes. So
Mhm.
they have said, "Oh, here's this card pack with all these characters that we have changed and updated. Here it is for you to buy." But they've also then done, "Oh, here's this print and play because we've decided to like update these 10 characters, like maybe in like an off cycle, and they just do a print and play for those ones, and they didn't
Like
do a card
Thanos.
and they didn't do a card pack, or like the X-Men ones they didn't do a card pack for those. So they've done both. They've done card packs and they have done only print and play for some.
Mm.
So there's been both scenarios, and then yes, and then there's been like the Thanos ones where like quick fixes where they've only done print plays, did not do a card pack. So there have been
Cosmic
both
Ghost Rider.
scenarios. Yeah. So if they keep that kind of cadence with this, let's just say, then that kind of means like for quick fixes or problems, they are going to fix probably just with a print and play. But there maybe there's a every 2 year card pack
Mm.
that would be all the erratas and changes or new things.
So one thing I love about this 2.6 is the art is just amazing. I love all the art. And fingers crossed, I'm really hoping, and I don't think I'm gonna get my wish. The upgrades have art on them. Because that's my biggest like critique about the upgrades. They look
They're
boring.
blah. They're
Yeah.
big blah spaces.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is that we've gotten the ones without the art? Is that how they look, or is that just how they looked, right, for the
Yeah.
rollout, or is that really how they look?
Mm. I'm really
Banger art
hoping
would
that
be
no.
awesome because to me, banger art. I'm gonna bring all the cards regardless, but to walk by a table. The best example I can give is old Legacy Legion walking by somebody's table and you know that they've participated in a lot of stuff or they won a lot of stuff because as you walked by their side of the table, it was all art, all art, all art, all art, art everywhere, badass art cards. Now when you walk by, it's like cool leader miniature art and then like shitty upgrades. I would like to see art on all these upgrades, so when you walk by the table again, it's just like cool thematic art pieces. Gives you more incentive for players who like stuff to look at to bring everything like me.
And that would be another incentive to buy these card packs for me, anyways. Is if the upgrade packs do have art, like that's just cool. Like that's just awesome. And I don't wouldn't want to buy a card pack and it's just like those generic nothing on them. It's just like okay. That to me is an easy print and play of just like I could just print those out, right? But I am gonna give some kudos to AMG. One thing I noticed that AMG does is AMG consistently sees and identifies the problem way in advance, but doesn't tell us anything about it until they're ready to tell us about it, right? So you got me griping about it, thinking they're not doing anything about it, and then they're just like, nah, we're doing something about it. You just don't know yet, right? And that's gonna bring us to the organized play. So my biggest thing is that GTs, little locals, us can't get it because we don't have enough player base. But they announced that there's going to be a retail support kit, which is free to purchase, available for retail stores. There's a store league tournament kit for 32 players. Up to 18 player tournament. And then the GT, the grand tournament kit. This is exciting. This makes me hyped because we're now getting prize support for smaller local.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I always wanted, right? Not everyone.
And new
can go to
cards that
GTs.
work. New cards that work.
Sure. How do you guys feel about this?
I'm excited.
Meh.
No,
He
no,
wants cardboard, but he's
Yeah,
meh.
he's full of it. He's full of it because you want all these card stuff and everything and all these tools, and you're gonna sit here and be like, I don't want those cool promos.
Because he doesn't want to win, remember?
No,
You know-
he wants promos.
You know what's funny? I actually don't care about card promos. I don't.
But-
I don't
but
know.
the-
I don't.
This isn't just the card promos, right?
What else is there? I don't know.
Well, they don't really tell us what's in these,
Yeah.
Dice,
right?
hopefully.
I like dice. See, I like dice. I'm a sucker for dice. But there's
Yeah.
not dice in there. No, it's cool. I mean, yeah, but like this is not like something I go for, but I'm happy you're happy. How about that?
I mean, it just shows like, okay, and this
So
art
nice, it's almost insulting.
and this panel, it shows two arts, which is Grievous, which looks sick. I really want that one. And then it shows Lando, which looks pretty cool as well. Because my biggest gripe about the Grievous promos is like they all look lame, and I was just like, what are they doing? And now I understand. Here it is, right here. This is what you want.
Lando better be playable if you're putting him on a promo card.
Yeah, 'cause
I get they're
he's terrible.
reworking him, but he better be playable if you're putting him on if you're giving him a all art.
Yeah, his card's so bad.
Well, they said it's gonna rework, and showing him as an art means that they're definitely gonna. Like you said, Nick. Hopefully by the end of March we'll get all the stuff.
That, I will flip if we don't get.
We're gonna need a podcast afterwards
We
to
don't-
watch Nick explode.
If we don't get everything at Adepticon, if they don't release everything in print and play, which I hate that's how I have to get it, but if we don't get everything, I'll be so mad.
He's gonna be dropping you're gonna hear Nick's first F-bomb on stream.
That'd be hilarious. But cool. Yeah, I'm super excited for this organized play kits. Support, just all in general. I'm seeing the love AMG. I'm seeing the corrections and everything. So all my griping, complaining, thanks for dealing with it because this is awesome. But yeah, with that being said, they also did a interview with Notorious Scoundrel about some stuff coming, or just their thoughts and where they're going in direction and stuff like that. The one of the things that I wanted to point out was the thing that you guys always gripe on me about is now they have announced, or not announced, but they said that it's okay to model your units as long as it's clear what a unit is, right? So
Yeah.
a good example is, I know where you're gonna go, but a good example is like the Geonosians leaders technically has wings and
Hmm.
everything, but you can model and do whatever you want to it and just be like, hey, this is my leader. And as long as your opponent knows, then you're good.
Yeah, just to be very clear, we don't gripe about because that's what you do. You don't do that. You play models that are not AMG, that are not even Star Wars. Let's be
Hey,
very clear.
Hey,
That's
hey,
not what you do.
hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
That is what I do. I proxy
hold on.
AMG models. I make proxies out of AMG models and use
If
AMG
if
Star Wars models to
if it
proxy
if it looks
something.
like a duck, it quacks like a duck. It
No,
must be a duck.
yours looks like I don't even know what your models
A
look like. They're
Samurai ATST.
I can't I can't even describe what yours look like. So no, your just so we're very clear here, JR, your models are still illegal, still can't be used. So just we're very clear about that. They still have to be made from your from AMG parts. That's what
So,
a proxy
well,
is. That's what a
okay,
legal proxy
okay.
is.
So then what you're saying is if I got the models and
Melt the plastic.
I reshaped them to look like a samurai, that's legal.
If you use all AMG parts,
Yeah.
sure,
Okay.
sure,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think you can do that though, so I'm not too worried about it.
But no, kidding aside and everything, I think that's a good direction. I think because like Ewoks is a prime example of just like got a spear in hand. Because it sounded like they were going the route of whatever it looks like that how it has to be, like the spear or the sling. But now you can model it hobby wise, like you did, Nick, with your Rebel Commander, and that's fun. That's awesome. Love that.
Yeah, it's and to be clear, I mean, that's always been in their packet that you can use a proxy. I think now it's just even more clear that that is even their intent, right? And
Yeah.
that is not a bad thing to do. And now you can even say encourage and what they even want us to do, you know, with how they're going to be packaging these boxes where you're buying one big box that you could make two squads with, and that's okay. And that goes along with their methodology now too, that you don't need two cards, right? To play two squads, right? You don't have to have two unit cards to play two units. You can do it with one card, and that's okay as well. So that's a change too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there was a time where if you
Jump the
brought
gun.
if you brought four units, you had to bring four cards, right? So I know I'm jumping the gun, but that's part of this, right? That's part of this conversation, right? So if you're modeling these units to fit that box you bought. So yeah, so as long as it's again recognizable though, right? It's gotta and be clear, right? They were very clear about that, right? It's got to be clear what it is. It can't be confusing.
Which honestly, just like you said, Nick, that's another thing they did say is that, which I love. You only need one card. Let's say you take a bunch of B1s. You only need the unit card for one of them to represent it. The only time you need duplicates of something is if it exhausts or it's a one-time use. Which I love that direction. That makes making your army so much easier. I know Jose, you have some thoughts on this because you don't like that.
I don't know. I just think that bring what you're supposed to. I get it. I get it. Um, I'm just a card guy, man. Want to look at your table and be like, oh, cool. He has one, two, six B1s. Cool. I don't want to be like, damn, how many B1s does he have? And I'm looking and I'm like, I look at your side of the table because I look at my opponent's side of the table. I don't want to look over and be like, there's only one B1. How many goddamn B1s does he have? Like, because think about it. Invasion Force. You have Grievous, you have Attack Droid, you have one B1 card and one AAT, and then the board is like you can't even move because there's so much B1s in there.
I think what will become maybe more common or more of a courtesy is printed lists that you
That shit
give.
takes up table space. I hate that shit too.
Well,
The
no,
printed list?
printed lists, like a printed list that
Well,
you give to your opponent, or sharing your list via Legion HQ to your opponent, right?
that I would much rather have because Roman with our last tournament, Roman was like, they were like, hey, do we have to print the list? And Roman was like, you don't have to, but it'd be a nice courtesy for your opponents. And I was like, man, fuck my opponents. I'm not printing shit. They can look up Legion HQ.
Language.
My bad.
Yeah, but like it's even more less stuff on the table, right? Because you bring the cards, it would fill up the whole sidebar, right? But now it fills up like just a third of the table for sidebarring. And I like that a lot better because there's a
I
lot of tools,
a
a lot of
little
dice, everything around the
a little
table.
gripe of mine, just with our tournament. Get rid of sidebars and get rid of 6x4 mats. because the sidebars make no goddamn sense anymore. I got a sidebar for 12 units and I can run 30. I hate that. And let's be honest, the mats, thanks to Rob ruining it for me, a lot of these mats aren't even cut right anyways. So let's just get rid of the six. Let's get rid of the sidebars. Let's get rid of 6x4. Play a casual 6x3 and
If
just be
you're
done
gonna
with
if you're
it.
gonna apply that the mat's not cut right on a 6x4, you have to also apply that to the 6x3s, right? Because no mat's cut
Yeah.
perfectly. And
Yeah,
all
the
sidebars do is just make a 6x4 into a 6x3, and 6x4 are
but
sold a
that's
lot
just
more than 6x3s, right? Because I think
no.
correct me if I'm
You can
wrong,
select you
but I
can
think
select mat sizes now.
no, hold on, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's not a whole lot of game that are played on 6x3s.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of games that are 6x3. Six
Okay,
by four is
name them,
mainly Warhammer.
name them.
Yeah. No. So not even, and it's kind of funny thing. Not even Warhammer plays 6x4 anymore. 6x4 used to be Warhammer, and now
They changed. I thought
40K.
they changed skirt. They changed Kill Team. They changed regular Warhammer 2 to be off of a 6x4.
Yeah, Warhammer 40K is not on 6x4 anymore.
Really?
It's on a weird measurement now. It's on like a 5 foot by something else. It's on a
That's
weird
why that
table
table
now.
I wanted. Warhammer sent me an email. FLG sent me an email about their fold-out tournament tables that are
Yep.
now in stock, and
It's a weird size.
I
Yeah.
was pumped. I was like, these have been out of stock forever. I've been trying to
Yeah.
buy them because it's 6x4. Flip out. I look at the measurements. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Don't send me this garbage.
Yeah. But of course we'd want 6x3, but that means you got to buy a whole bunch of new mats, and that's just an extra cost. I
I
mean,
know. I'm just saying, like, I don't like the 6x4 anymore. Just my gripe with the 6x4 is mainly just the sidebars are irrelevant now.
Now, I know we don't do it. I've done it a couple times, but I'm pretty sure a Galactic Legion game is still on the 6x4, right?
I don't even think those rules exist anymore.
No,
I don't think
Probably
that
not.
exists
Probably
anymore.
not.
those
Yeah,
rules don't exist
probably
anymore.
not. That would be interesting because you couldn't do that in 5 turns where you gotta first spin the turn to get on the board, then you gotta make an extra turn to get closer to each other. But yeah, I don't think sidebar is a problem, but it's whatever.
It's
Uh,
ugly. It's,
the Wills did say, now I need some more thoughts from you, Nick. Uh, they went in and talked about super squads and how, and I love this direction. Whenever you buy a box that can be a super squad, all the models are going to be in there. Love that. It's going to be a little bit more pricey, but that makes sense because there's more models in it. And so this made me start to think that that's where the direction they want the game to go. And Nick,
Mhm.
you're big on you didn't want this because you don't want a lot of bodies because a good example you made is that operatives and commanders don't really do a whole lot because they don't have a lot of dice pool. And this just makes it so even worse, because
Yeah.
in the tournament you played against all my B1s, which were all super squads, and that was a lot of bodies to deal with, I'm sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I just, if that's the direction they're gonna go, um, and maybe I'm wrong in this thought process, then commanders and operatives have to go up in power. I and I maybe I'm incorrect in saying that, but I just don't see how they can continue at their current level of power and do anything in a game where
other than
that
shout
that
orders.
yeah, that's the size of the squads that we're going against. Because I can't run a six health white save unit um, anywhere near a 10 man 12 man squad. Doesn't matter what dice they're throwing, they're gonna kill me. and and so it's just like, so why am I even bringing that unit? Why? It's just so. And so if you're going to make bigger squads, then those leaders have more tech or more wounds or more dice or something. Otherwise, they're just not doing anything. And especially, and as a rebel player, that's supposed to be what I'm supposed to do. My heroes are supposed to be really, my
Heroic.
my thing. And and I just feel like if that's really the direction the game goes, and it's just bigger units, bigger dice pools. That's what we're seeing, right? The special force units are getting bigger. We've already seen the dice pools getting
Oh,
bigger,
Mhm.
and now the core squads are just gonna are going to get pushed to be bigger. So the commanders and heroes got to get more powerful. At least that's what think that has to happen. So I don't know if that happens or not. So that's yeah. But that's what I think what would need to happen.
What do you think, Jose?
I agree with their previous point. I don't mind big squads in the game because in all reality, having a example B1 big squads, I love it. Thematic looks amazing. It's awesome. I am in the market hunting down B1s because I want to run eight double squad invasion force.
Yeah.
That probably won't happen till the fall. Thanks, AMG. But I like that, it's value cost because like you get a double infantry clone trooper with double squad and a shotgun and all this stuff. It's cool. You can do it, but you're missing out on an extra surge to share. And we all know that sharing tokens is stupid good for Gar. So there's a net loss when you double those squads. So you think twice about it. And then you got squads in like Shadow Collective where they can't double up. I think that's utter trash. Sorry, Nick.
It makes sense
I think
though.
it's utter trash, but at least AMG's wary of putting a stopgap on some things that can be doubled up. And don't give me that it makes sense because you can double a B2 squad, but you can't double a freaking Black Sun. Get out of here.
The problem there, and I agree with them. They said this before, is that if you start doubling up mercenaries that could be taken in other factions, then people are going to start taking those over what's already in the faction, and it's easier to balance a game where if it's strong in a faction, they could rebalance in that faction, as opposed to now we got to rebalance mercenaries because
You could just
everyone's
make
taking
them
Black
double up for
Suns.
you could add special rules in your stupid little updated rule book and make it mercenary factions can only double up inside of said faction. You can only get double up Black Sun in Shadow Collective. You can only get double up Pikes in Shadow Collective. All they need to do is go into the rulebook. Please, AMG, remember the blue text and put Shadow Collective double up Black Sun and double up Pikes only in Black Sun. And then that's all you got to do. It's done and over with. But like I said, the fact that everything can't double up is awesome. I like that double up squads. Like I said, there's certain units that can do it, and some units that can, you don't even want to do it with. So there's give and take.
Yeah, and they did say that when they originally were doing Super Squads, they had a new unit that they first did it for, and that
Gungans.
they never released it. But now at Adepticon, they're gonna show us what that is. Jose already, I was gonna
I
ask
said Gungans.
what you think it is. So Jose says Gungans. What do you think it is, Nick?
Jawas.
Jaw. Ooh, I like that.
That's just a crazy
Jawas.
guess. I
That
think
is
it's
a crazy.
Jawas.
Well, they said
Mer-
it threw
Mercenary
14
Jawa.
white dice. They said it throws 14 white dice, if
14
that
white dice.
matters. Yeah, that was what was going on in the
So
Discord.
that's 7 units or 7 miniatures in a unit throwing 2 dice, or do you think they're throwing? Yeah, yeah.
I would assume seven is a core. That's no heavy. So this presumption of 14 dice is not including a heavy. It would be seven models doubled up with to make 14, each of them throwing one white die.
Sounds like a Jawa to me.
It's Gungans, bro. It's gonna have Ion 5 on
Or
it.
and a lot of people have been speculating this too. This is just off the top of my head. Mud Troopers,
I would
right?
love that. I've been wanting Mud Troopers forever.
So that might be it. But that's cool. That's exciting. We're getting a new unit at the end of Adepticon, not re-release, but a new something to spoil. Which
Well, I would venture to guess we're probably getting at least 5 new units.
okay, that's something to
Ewok
say.
gliders is my hot take. Ewok gliders.
That's maybe being conservative. I would at least 5.
Yeah, sure, sure. But one thing I want to make note is that with this 2.6, do you think they're gonna still pump out battle forces? Do you
Yes.
expect to see battle forces at Adepticon? New ones.
I do.
Um, trying to remember if they gave us Battle Force at DevCon. I think they waited till Mini Extravaganza last time, right?
I can't remember. I know
Because
they.
remember, they don't give us everything at Adepticon. They just give us a little, and they give us more at Mini
Well,
Extravaganza.
in terms of at Adepticon, it is what it is, but battle forces seem to be something that they do. I Because it's funny. It's that at first they're like, battle forces are not competitive. They're supposed to be fun, and then they go and shit on all the regular events, and battle forces winning left and right. Battle Force at 501st still holding it down. Invasion Force we haven't seen really because nobody has crazy enough to build or paint all those models. Not even JR.
EXD.
EXD. So I mean, I would be shocked if we don't get another one or two battle forces. Just seems like that's a flavor to go. I mean, a lot like people like Rome have been wanting a Mando battle force where you could just encompass every Mando possible and run some of them as core, run some of them as special forces. So, Commander, Sabine, or what if they introduce Bo-Katan and the Night Owls? Like, I mean, I think we'll get more battle forces. But I'm with Nick with new units. But the thing is, like Nick, in your new units, you does that is that counting that we still haven't seen Thrawn or Tarkin's cards? Because those are coming.
Mhm.
So would that be would Thrawn and Tarkin be part of your five, or you're saying besides what we know, we're still gonna get five more
No, I think new. Yeah, new
new?
things. I
They
mean,
did
because
show Tarkin in the little demo. They showed Tarkin.
yeah,
They showed Veers. They showed the I don't know the other officer name.
because I could be wrong. Because last year, didn't we saw at least five new things that we did not know about, right?
Yeah, but nothing's been spoiled from those units really. We still
No,
don't know
but
what Thrawn does. We still don't know what.
no, we'll see those things too. We'll see those things, and we'll get spoiled on some new things. Like so at Mini Extravaganza, they showed us the renders of those things. So now we'll see the painted miniatures of those things, and we'll see some of those cards. We're going to see renders now of the things we don't know about.
So what
So
I
we're
my wants for that, I want Gungans. Give me Gungans. One or two Gungans. I'll be fine with one. I want Gungans. I want to see Clan Saxon Mandos for Empire. I want to see Night Owls for either Shadow Collective or probably not. They won't go to Shadow because they already got the Mandalorian. So Night Owls for Gar, and I want to see Ewok gliders, and then I want to see who have I been? Oh, ready? You got to know this is coming. Give me motherfucking Qui-Gon
Qui-Gon
Jinn
Jinn.
already.
language,
If the
language.
big squad was Gungans, I guarantee you Qui-Gon will be announced same time because it just makes sense. If you're gonna put Gungans in Gar or its own like Battle Force mercenary, then you gotta have Qui-Gon Jinn, right? But we'll see. Um, Moving on, they did talk about advanced intel in their interview. How advanced intel
Boo.
is 60% winning and it's really strong, and they want to keep it that way, which I'm down with that. And one thing I did like what they said was they said that they want to bring the other ones up to par. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I don't put much stock in events until I don't care if my opponent has it.
But like, do you feel like it's that strong that they're saying?
He doesn't have a
I
mean bone in his body.
Don't be fooled, guys. You guys are being fooled.
I I cannot tell you how little I think about turn zero.
well, do you think there's anything they could do? Like if you were to
I instead want fun advantages. I could care less
give me
about
an
a
idea.
pass. A pass is the most boring advantage ever. I think two of my opponents in the tournament had it. I didn't even ban it on one of the
This is why
times.
you went 0 and 3. This
Um,
is why you went 0 and
um,
3, Nick.
I want fun advantages.
Well,
Give me fun
give me
things.
one. What would be a cool like fun advantage that you would like to see?
Something with some variables. Something that adds a little variable to the game. right? Little and the faction ones. I'm hoping the faction ones are fun. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping those will add a little bit of a spice to the game. And something that is a and more impactful too, right? Like so the ordnance ones and those ones, that's kind of, those are okay. I don't want something that is just, do wounds. Something that maybe helps your army in the middle of the game. Something more that helps you more so than trying to like do wounds to the opponent, I guess I would say.
That makes sense. Kind of like a heal, like oh, heal this unit.
Heal, give yourself a move, um, something like that. Something that would gives you an advantage, something like that that gives you something positive in the mid game.
What about you, Jose? Was there any current advantages that you would change to bring it up to advanced intel?
So I was victim to the impact of advanced intel during our tournament. Maybe to bad luck, but we're doing turn zero, getting that shenanigan started, and I flip my green, not advanced intel. Or I flip my green and it's advanced intel. My opponent flips his green and it's advanced intel. My opponent bans and to top it off, what makes it worse is I'm blue player, so I'm screwed. I'm blue player and their advanced intel and my advanced intel is up. I already know what's gonna happen. The 60% is annoying because their response to it was we need to bring up the other ones. Well, I hate to break it to you, I don't see a way you can make the other ones better and have it be as good as Advanced Intel. For instance, prepare positions is a trap. In the games that I have had people launch prepare positions,
Well, what
I
would you
just
change about it? That's the because we know they're not that
there's
great.
nothing you
Okay,
can change
I'm gonna
about
play
it.
devil's
So hold
advocate.
on, I'm not done yet.
Okay, go ahead.
I think what they need to do to offset advanced intel is these faction advantages need to be blown out of the water. You can have your pass, but I'm about to shit all over you. For instance, give the CIS faction an advantage where it's like call it invasion, and basically you get to hold back 4B1s that don't deploy till after turn one is done, and then right before when turn one's over, you now get to deploy 4B1s wherever you need them to be to get set. I think that would be like, okay, you can have your pass all you want, but I got these 4B1s that I'm going to be able to launch onto the board with like a speed 2 recon or whatever. And now you have to think extra hard about do you want to burn this pass or not? Because I got stuff here that is not going to come out and you can't force it to come out. And so so it's not overpowered, just keep it to core. Could you imagine how scary it would be if you're like, you got an advanced intel, cool, but I got four B2s that are just about to launch with a speed 2 move onto the board.
So you want a super pass?
No, I just want something
Yeah,
that's gonna
that's
be,
basically what
no,
that is.
Just super
That's
no,
pass.
basically what that is. You
no,
just
so,
you just gave
or,
yourself four passes.
Yeah.
no, what is, is that's a unit that's coming on that's not shooting. It's a unit that's coming on, it's not doing anything other than positioning. It gives your opponent who's relying. All my games where they got advanced intel, they relied on that so much, and it benefited them because not only did they have it, they were blue.
So let me
But
play.
even one for rebels, like call the rebel one like sneak attack or something, and let them infiltrate like the Dark Trooper command card. Let the Rebel Trooper team pick three core units, and I'm saying core because anything other than a core, it's too strong. But these are things that can be useful. Let Rebel players select three core units, and with those three core units, they can do the Dark Trooper command card where they can now redeploy somewhere else, speed 2 or range 2 away from another unit. That puts a shotgun fleet trooper behind a building that's LOS, and they can pop out now and surprise the opponent. Stuff like that, like Empire. and give the three core units and give the Empire, I don't know, like something crazy. Give the Empire like for their advantage, it could be something like, I don't know.
So
I can't. Empire sucks. It's hard. It's
let me
hard to
play
think of that.
devil's advocate here, okay? I think if you give Garrison where you could put three cores a prepared position, I think it would be with up there with the advanced intel. What do you guys think about that?
Nope.
You know,
So,
so you're telling me, Jose, if I got Garrison and I had three B2s, now I get to fortify position them or prepare position them with the dodge. That's not a big deal.
No, because you're only allowed to go where your so prepared positions is you plant yourself and then you get to go move whatever.
Mm.
But knowing that you have prepared positions and that has to be done before your deployment, right? Because it's your prepared positions and then your deployment. That to me is like the Anakin trap. Oh, you're gonna put your prepared position unit here. Well, guess what? Now I have that information. I'm gonna go over here. And in my experience with 2.6, all the games, majority of the games I have won have been on people getting stuck with prepared positions because it's either I know where not to be or you're dumb enough to put something where it doesn't belong. So I think it doesn't matter about how many prepared positions you get. I think that it's just it's feeding information of how to direct your battlefield, especially now with being able to not be locked in certain positions. Um, for instance, you're gonna deploy a B2 unit on X marker. Cool. I'm an Aqua player. I'm gonna put an Aqua wall right here, and if you're gonna shoot the Aqua wall, fuck it, shoot it. But you gotta expose yourself to shoot it. And then I'm gonna then launch the next Aqua to start tearing them down. It's weird. If you told me Garrison would instead give you reinforcements, then I would be like, okay, that's an advantage.
Nah, I don't like reinforcements to what it is now.
It's a free speed move in a game that you need moving.
I think you're vastly you get to start in your deployment zone and then you get your activation. That's better than a reinforcement, right? Because you don't have to come onto the board and move and move somewhere and then move at the end of the turn. You come onto the board, move, shoot, move dodge, move standby. You could do so many things. It's pretty much infiltrate with the dodge. Sure, you give up your information to your opponent of where you're gonna be, but the POIs already do that. They already tell you where you need to be. So you just need a position where like this got this covered, right? Nick, what do you think about that?
I wouldn't
I,
completely agree with that because when in my games at the tournament, I was able to shift my opponent by simply just offsetting one or two units to just for them to think where I was going, and that helped immensely. So I don't necessarily completely agree with that. And to be honest, I think the reinforcements is more beneficial because yes, you can in your eyes plant and go. That's no different than another unit that then gets to deploy, infiltrate and go. So it's pretty much infiltrate. You're correct. It is infiltrate. But I think what's more impactful is the reinforcements because now you move and in turn two, when turn two kicks off, that's when you need to either move onto position or already be on position, which reinforcements would let you be on position, ready to go. I rather aim shoot while being on a POI than moving and shooting and to be on a POI.
But you do
so
cover more ground with prepared positions than you do with reinforcement. But anyways, Nick, what's your thoughts?
so I don't like any of these ideas. Stop escalating the deploy phase. Stop it.
You have
Stop.
to. You
No,
have to.
no. Have these advantages go and do things in the game. If we keep if we keep just having if we keep just escalating more and more things in the deploy phase, it's just gonna like make the game just break at that phase. I don't like that. Let's just deploy and then let's play the game and we could have the advantages affect the game as we play it.
So you
Instead of thinking of all these crazy ideas to make the deploy phase just more crazy so that we can have the game over before we even play it.
it's to try to offset advanced intel because here's my thing. Advanced intel, my opponents having it was key and offsetting my idea because advanced intel doesn't hurt as bad when you're not blue player. When you roll blue and then you have to deal with the ban phase banning their choosing to ban their advanced intel or ban a mission that they brought that you're not great at and then have to worry about if they're going to take your blue and pick table side like advanced intel just makes that already stacking feeling way worse because like I said, in the games that I lost, it was I got to ban their advanced intel or I got to ban their mission. And then on their last ban, they take blue and they either now have the best table side with their mission or the best table side with their advanced intel. And it's just, there's no way to come back from that. And to lead into the 60%, the one game that I did have advanced intel, I swept. So advanced intel having a 60% win rate is really believable. Because I won my game with advanced intel and then lost my games that I had to play against or into or banning advanced intel. And that's a huge problem. But in classic AMG fashion, we're gonna have to wait for it. Wait until they give us more cards.
So I honestly think and agree with them that they just need to bring up the other advantage cards to be par with advanced intel. And like I said, we'll see if how they do that. I think that's the right direction. But what's note that they said is that there's going to be seasons and rotations for battle cards. And I don't know how I feel about this. What do you guys think? What do you think, Nick?
So they do this in MCP,
Okay.
but they have a lot of missions in MCP, like way more than we've ever had in Legion. I mean, a lot. Um, so they could do this, but I mean, when they do this, I mean, we're gonna have like, you know, 15 missions to pick from, and that's why they'll be able to rotate them. Um, so you maybe you can't picture it right now, so that's maybe why you think you won't like it.
Mhm.
And when they say rotate, like they rotate just like a few out, and like what they do now. It's not like they rotate like a big chunk.
Yeah.
Like they'll rotate a few out. Um, so it should be fine. Like what they do in MCP, it works. It
Okay.
works. So and I also think it probably won't happen for a while because again, we only have three right now.
Mhm.
They said we're gonna get. They said, I mean, the, we'll see what happens. They said they mentioned that we'll get a new one, a new mission pack every year, supposedly. So I don't know. Maybe there's three or maybe there's six new missions in that pack every year. So
Realistically, we only had two mission packs for all of other Legion.
yeah, so when's the first time they're gonna rotate? I mean, is it like 2 years from now? I don't know. Like so I don't know when even they first do a rotation, unless they really throw out a lot of missions quickly. Um, yeah, so we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting, the rotation, because like that's one way, Jose, to get rid of advanced intel, right? Just rotate that out. Do you like where that's gonna be going as far as like seasons and rotations, Jose?
Mm.
And that's exactly what they do at MC. That's exactly how they would solve at MCP. They would rotate it out.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but here's the thing with MCP, like they see the problem and then they outright handle it in terms of like the 15 and was it 14 15 threat because they knew
Hmm.
that that was a huge problem when it came to fighting stuff. And then on top of that, then they nerf Thanos so he's not splashable. Like they're calculated with this. I feel like they're not very calculated with how they're handling
No,
blue.
I mean, you're saying that because it happened, but because you've only played MCP for like a year, that's been a problem for like 5 years.
Yeah,
That's been a
but
problem
I'm
for like
saying
five
is
years.
but what
It's
I'm
been a
saying is
long time.
like it was calculated because Not they could have just did the missions and left Thanos alone, but they
Yeah.
didn't. They
But
they
they took a
tackled.
long time to do
That's
that.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like they could have took a long time and left Thanos broken, and he would have still been a splashable monster, and it would still been dealing with bullshit going forward. Not the 15 threat, but the go bullshit going forward. Side note, I hate that they got rid of the 15 because I was cheating with Archangel bumping me above threat by switching him to Fallen. But anyways, side issue. I don't mind the rotation. I think that's fun. I think it's a good idea, but I I want to see different. I want to see more stuff. Like not even advantages. Like give us yellow cards that bring back like the whole thing of these POIs are stuck here and you cannot move. You just have to throw yourself to the fire, hope you survive, hope you brought a fire extinguisher, hope you brought a bus, hope you brought aquas, because if you're on that point, you're gonna get completely shit on. I want I want to be in a game where bring back bring back boxes in a way. Make the boxes like the yellow card, not the main objective, but the yellow card. And let's add movable stuff other than planted POIs that you're either winning or contesting. Bring back stuff that adds the stuff they got rid of is the stuff they need to bring back. Having more games under my belt now, just sitting and hoping to fucking the gods that your dice hold on for just a little longer
So
is
I, I
ass.
I do agree with you, Jose, because like the POY missions kind of get boring after a while because you're just holding the point, and units that have high mobility and have high damage output are really good in that mode, like the ARC troopers. If you did something that can grab, run, not run necessarily, because ARCs do that good too, just something different where you don't need to get to a POI. I think I agree with you. I think that would also be fun. But from what Nick is telling us, they do already do stuff like that in MCP as far as like releasing a lot of missions. And it looks like in Shatterpoint, they've also come out with a lot of missions too.
Well, MCP they have
And the,
stuff you can grab. They
yeah.
have you don't have to play the blue. You can grab red and run
Sure.
away.
I feel like they're gonna do that with the new missions that are gonna be announced for Legion. It's just getting to that point because technically we're still in the launch phase of 2.6, right?
The next
Yeah.
Shatterpoint mission is crazy.
What does it do?
It's like, so you know how you have your map?
Mm.
If somebody has I think if I remember correctly, if somebody has three objectives, the other player, can shuffle and pick a whole new map and replace it and go all new objectives.
What?
Yeah.
Hell
And then
yeah.
and every time the shatter points pulled, like there's like all these new crazy abilities that happen, like removing controlled objectives or like doing all this crazy stuff. It's a crazy new mission that's coming out.
That's dope.
Wouldn't that make the game longer?
That's what people are wondering if it will. So we'll see.
Because
But
like,
I mean, but you still never know. I mean, but now you don't get to pick the map. It's random. So you may pick a new map, but it still might fall right into the opponent's hands, right? So
yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting.
yeah.
The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I love that they said this because I agree with this. I've been telling people this a long time now, is tables should not be symmetric. I know I'm guilty of making symmetric tables. I know people like to do symmetric tables, but now that blue player picks table side and it can be stolen, now more than ever, tables need to be asymmetric so that way there is a clear advantage on one side. How do you guys feel about that?
I guess I need to make more unfair tables.
No.
That's what they
Hold
said.
on.
They
That
said I
that's
need to make more
that's what this is.
unfair
Yeah,
tables.
yeah,
So I don't necessarily make
symmetric.
symmetric tables. I do make tables where I try to put terrain everywhere. Um, so I guess I need to change that. I guess because
For the record,
I would definitely say that there is probably not much of an advantage to picking a side on a table I make. Um, so I will try it. I guess I'll try it. I'll try making an unfair table.
But it doesn't
Here's
have
my
it doesn't it
here.
doesn't have to be too unfair, right? It doesn't have to be too much.
I mean, but what's too much? I mean,
Sure.
what does that even mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Here's
No,
my own.
there
Here's
is
my
too
only.
much.
Here's my only problem with even that mentality. And I mean, everyone can have their thoughts on this, but I guess here's my thought, and it's not right or wrong, I guess, because who's to say who's right or wrong on this?
Mm.
With that mentality, that that should be a decision that has to be made, that there is a clear advantage to table side. If that's the case, I feel like in some circumstances, then, and it could be in maybe in a lot of circumstances, possibly, that that could be the only decision. And now I don't even have to play the game because I could just destroy you because you don't even have a chance at that point. Like I don't have to play the game because you have nothing to hide yourself. Like I could bring an army that's my strategy to pick the to pick the side. I don't have to play the objectives. I bring an army that can just shoot you off the board before the game even starts because that's my objective. So I mean that'd be hard to do every time, but that's why I don't like that mentality of picking that having an unfair side or a side that is a clear advantage. That's why I've never liked that. Um, but I guess I'll give it a try. I'll try it out. So,
Yeah, because like you have to make the decision process on turn zero meaningful. And being blue player already gets screwed, right? Because they get banned, all their stuff get banned. And if you have a symmetric table every time, then red players never has to steal blue player. And I feel like that should be a tough choice on red player to be like, should I ban his advanced intel or should I take table side because there's a clear advantage to one side, right? And that obviously it's gonna not gonna be the same every time because one table I played on in the LVO, one side was very heavy LOS blocking, and the other side was very light on LOS blocking. So table side mattered in that aspect. And so like if you bring an army that likes LOS, you're gonna want that side. But if you bring an army that is a gun line, you're gonna want the less LOS side, right? So in my I dig it because it's got to be a tough decision, or else red player is always just gonna be the better option. What do you think, Jose?
You're gonna hate this answer.
I already see. I already could tell.
First off, Nick, big fan of your tables. I love your tables. When
Cap,
you look at
stop the cap.
hold on, hold on. When
Hold on,
you,
we're
I'm
gonna
getting
get
there.
okay. Go ahead.
No, no, I'm getting there. When you look at all these dumb looking tables, if there's a room and there's 10 tables, I can walk in that room and be like, that's Nick's table. It's screw the way you play. It's thematic. It looks beautiful. It's awesome. It's great. But Nick, the table you built at this event was the shit, and I'm
Hold on a
language,
minute.
but it was
language.
the
Hold
was
on.
the. Hold
Before you
on, no, no,
continue,
no, no. Let me
no.
finish.
I know. I want to say
It,
something. I want to say
hold
something real
on,
quick.
no,
I
no,
know.
wait, 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 wait. I gotta
You get
finish
to
my.
it. You get to it, but you complimented the table before you played on it, and now you hate it after you played on it. Anyways,
Yes,
continue.
it was the shittiest table you've ever built, sir.
Why?
So I got a question, and it wasn't just me. My opponent Grayson, we shared this sentiment. He might be a little nicer about it, but it was still a terrible table. A question I have for you is the long river that you put going through 33% of the table.
Hmm.
Do you play that as difficult or open in
Oh,
terms
well,
of terrain?
you could decide. I would usually do it as light area difficult, though. Yeah.
Yeah, no. We hit that table. I was a victim of blue player again.
Hmm.
Grayson picked the side that didn't have the river. We were playing shifting priorities, and right before we when we went to the when we went to talking about terrain, I told Grayson verbatim like this. I said, "Hey, this river is going through 33% of the table. I'm stuck on this side. I am letting you know right now, I am not we are not ruling this difficult terrain because the fuck if I'm gonna have to speed down to move my little priority supplies and scooch away while you have 66% of the table free roam.
The
No
river
difficult,
the
nothing.
river went across
N-
short ways.
The
It was on his
no,
side
it
too.
was no,
You know, it's
no.
funny. Okay,
It didn't touch his side.
it's
Not to
Yes, it
where
funny.
he need,
whoa, whoa,
not
whoa. Yes, it did.
not to where he needed to be. No. The way he picked the when he picked table side, the river only affected me.
It touched his table side too.
Not Nick, it went slanted. So
Yes.
Grayson has this little corner of river, and I have this whole bottom portion of river.
So, ironically, Nick made a really good table because it there was a defined advantage to one side. That's that should have been played, in my opinion, difficult because it's a river. You're walking through a river, and
The agreement,
there's a clear advantage to the side of the table. I think that's a good idea.
the agreement that me and Grayson came upon, because I was steadfast. I'm not like if he would have been like, no, it's difficult and it's speed down. I would have just shook his hand like, okay, sir, I'm good. I'm carry on. I'm dead serious.
Wait, hold on. So you bullied Grayson.
No, the I told him that I was not going to play it that way. So then the conclusion we came
What if
to
you
is
wanted to
that
play? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
the conclusion we came to, which I thought was a fair one, was it's going to be open but no cover. So I had a useless piece of terrain across that whole corner.
Wait a minute. Like, okay, so I had this happen in my LVO game on the stream. We both had a disagreement on the stairs for the temple. I usually play it anytime you go upstairs, it's difficult. He wanted to
Yeah,
play it
you're
open.
wrong.
He
Yeah,
wanted to
you're
play it
wrong.
open, right?
Yeah, you're wrong.
So we rolled a dice to see what happened. Why didn't you just do that? You bullied
Because I
Grayson. That's what you did.
hey, it does. He could have took the W and walked away if he wanted to rule that way.
Oh, no. You roll
I'm not.
the-
So let's get
you
this
make me
straight.
roll. You make me roll the dice
Let's
all the
let's get
time.
let's get this straight. And I was very open about everything at that tournament. When Robert's like, if your opponent wants to use a chess clock, you should really think about it. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. I let the whole room know at that point, before turn one started, before round one started. I said, any of you dudes whip out a chess clock, don't even ask me. Put it away. I'm not doing it.
So wait a minute, Jose, why didn't you take any environmental gear to gain unhindered so you can go through difficult terrain? It sounds like you weren't prepared to for any battlefield that you might
Can
come
the B1s
across.
take environmental gear?
No, they can't.
Exactly. Be quiet, Nick.
Oh, so
Anyways,
did you not bring an army that was
anyways.
prepared for any battlefield? I know I took
No,
environmental
no,
gear
no.
on one of my units.
So I had no problem on any other table except for the portion that was ridiculous. That
It
was
sounds like I made a
absolutely
challenging table
ridiculous.
that was a good table then.
Ironically,
It
we're
was not
talking.
a good table
We're
because
talking.
the
Hold on.
whole time me and Grayson are playing on the game on the map, we're like talking about how shitty of a table it is.
It's
Not even that corner.
it's
Just
so
it was close, cluster fucked. We couldn't move in. How do you make a perfect table with no light terrain? Everything was a goddamn building or concrete.
But you determine what's light and heavy. You determine what the train is.
You can't. So that's what I'm saying. This table, the way it was structured, there was a destroyed. I want to say it was a destroyed X-wing or whatever in the middle.
That could be light.
All the way to the left was nothing but concrete buildings. On the right, nothing but concrete buildings and a river. There were two things that you could rule that weren't heavy, which was the river and the concrete and the X-wing in the middle. That's it.
Ar-
Everything else,
arguably,
No,
arguably,
no.
you can make concrete buildings light too.
There was multiple light area
no.
trains. Yes.
Where?
Yes.
Where?
Yes.
Where?
Because the X-Wing has multiple pieces on the table. Yes, it does.
We ruled that as difficult light. That's it.
There's also all the light area crash terrain pieces. Those are all light areas. Those are all light area pieces. All those crash pieces, those are all light areas.
We
I
didn't
played
even acknowledge those.
I played on that table too against Justin. I played on that table against Justin. We had the river as light area difficult. We had a fantastic game. It was quite lovely.
You got smashed by snails, Nick. You're the only guy I know
Li-
that likes to get
Listen,
smashed.
listen, listen.
Smash. Wait. Smashed? We tied on victory points and went to kill points.
The man
Okay,
had flying
listen,
snails, bro.
listen. It's ironically that Nick made a table that AMG wants, right? Because there was a clear advantage to one side, and that's the
You
one
know
table
who?
you complain
No,
about.
no, 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 no. Because here we go. Who met the AMG table criteria, and I thought it was a perfect table.
What's that?
Robert.
What table was that?
Rob's. That was the half circle with the
Oh, the
steps.
circles.
So here's what made that perfect. You had that centerpiece that was broken into two that gave you a firing line going this way. You had stairs that me and my opponent rolled. You could just walk on up, just mosey on up. Keep in mind that didn't
Okay,
even have
first
it
off,
didn't.
why do you think it's not difficult to go upstairs?
Why do you even
As a
think why do you even think stairs are a thing? Stairs is not a rule
Yeah, it's
in
not a rule in the
stairs is not even
game.
a rule in the game. If it's
That's
above
in your head.
if it's above if it's high in your silhouette, it's a climb. If it's low in your silhouette, you go over it. And you
Because
have to
it's
rule
just
if it's obstacle or difficult.
because
Stairs means nothing.
physically, I think about it like if
And if you
I'm
want to get
running
more
if
technical,
I'm
if you
running
rule it,
straight, I don't get tired, right? But I mean, I get tired, but I could get there faster. But if I'm going upstairs, it's gonna take difficult to get all the way up the stairs,
but
right?
also by
That's
game
why I do stairs
rules,
difficult.
if you rule it a certain way, you could put it to where you can't even step on the stairs because overhang. So no, that your head canon is completely miffed. But anyways, back
Head
to the point.
cannon, that's
Have
logic. That's
half
physical.
circle, half circle. I don't get winded going upstairs. I'm a big boy.
Oh, that's cap. Stop the cap.
You want to go to the gym with me and jump
Let's
on a
go.
treadmill and see
Let's
who
go.
dies?
Let's go
Okay,
tomorrow.
you
Okay.
heard it. Not
Right.
tomorrow, but you heard it.
Oh, see, okay. No. Hold on. You do this every time. You do this every time. You always say you're down, and then it never happens.
No. I
What
am
day?
down for this. I don't know. Let me work my
And
schedule.
we're gonna do stairs climb. Okay. All right. Next podcast, guys. We're gonna have a date where we're gonna go and we're gonna do inclines.
We're gonna film it live.
Yeah.
So anyways, back to my point. We're running late on time. Nick has to go
Yes.
to bed. So it had the broken half circle. We need Nick recording it as JR rolls down the stairs and I'm still going like a champ. Um anyways, so the half circle, which left a nice little firing line right down the middle. We had the stairs on both ends where we could just climb up or not climb up, walk up. On the right, on my opponent's side, there was a building that had a ladder on it. We ruled that you could just climb up the ladder, walk up the ladder. Um, and then it had a vantage point where he could get on it, see the POI, shoot down into the POI. On my end of the table, there was two smaller buildings a little bit further back, so not as close as his building, but I had a nice little chunk where I could hide, bob and weave while I got to the center POI. We played close the pocket. On his left side of the table, he had a little bit more dense line of sight blocking scatter, whereas on my side of the table, I had a lot more scatter that impacted where my placements could be in terms of trying to attack that position because I didn't have line of sight on that. So that was perfect because the disadvantage was on my side because I had two deployment zones, one with no cover, one with pseudo cover, no line of sight, one with line of sight but further back, versus his that had one building overlooking a POI and somewhat line of sight blocking on his top. It was great. That
It's
was awesome.
ironic. I also played on that table and I felt that
You didn't
table
like it.
is a little bit more open. It's not that I didn't like it. There's never a table I just absolutely hate unless it's like completely no terrain on it because it's subject to interpretation, right? It sounds like you define the terrain better in this one than you did in Nick's table, right?
That
Um,
sounds
Um,
yeah.
it was
it's
kind of the same. It was basically stairs, walk up stairs, ladder, walk up ladder. Heavy terrain, heavy line of sight for the big buildings. The little scatter terrain was area difficult, but it's in one pocket. And then there was like some long light pole things where it's like this doesn't completely block anything, but it's going to be heavy cover because it's a fucking stair.
so
It's a steel pole.
we kind of went off on a tangent here about tables. Probably should talk next episode.
Sorry, yeah, sorry.
But
Back to us. Back to your question.
yeah, do you like how AMG's like we want
No,
asymmetrical tables.
nope.
You want
It should
symmetric
be.
tables.
So here's the reason. It should be symmetric. To me it should be symmetric until they find a way to deal with advanced intel, because
Rob wasn't symmetric tables.
because no. I also had advanced intel, so it didn't hurt me. So what I'm saying is, until they find a way to deal with bringing down the win rate of advanced intel, it's a crapshoot to make a table that's strong on one side, because if you roll blue player and they have advanced intel up, it puts you in a hard spot, because you gotta go for their advanced intel, and they're gonna steal blue, and or they're gonna flip to advanced intel, and then you gotta burn. You can't try to finagle your way to get blue. I think I think having offset tables with advanced intel being as strong as it is just makes it pointless. Therefore, if the tables are symmetrical, it kind of doesn't matter that you had advanced intel, because you just have a pass, and I'm not. It's not full blown. I'm screwed if you have advanced intel and you still blue.
Yeah,
Because
but if
right now
you
that's what's happening. You're
if
still in blue and you're getting.
if you're blue no if you're blue player now that's not true. If you're blue player and there is a clear advantage to one side, blue player you mostly play your main objective, right? Maybe you
Mhm.
get lucky, you get advanced intel. Now red player has to decide, do I want the main objective that may or may not be favoring me? If it's not favoring me, then I want to ban that. And now
But
I also
what
then
do
I
you do if
also
you're
got to
advanced?
ban their advances. So now I don't get to pick the table side that has a clear advantage on it. Or I can choose him, let the blue player have one of those three options, and the one I take is the blue player side because there's a clear advantage
But
to the table.
that's in a perfect world.
But well,
What I'm telling you is, in my two games, I have won blue player both times, and lost because they had the combo of, I have to either get rid of their mission or get rid of advanced intel, and they and that's just too much to overcome.
so if okay, let's go back to Nick's table when you played against Grayson. You're a blue player, correct?
Yeah, and I had to
And
flip out
now
of Grayson's advanced intel.
did you guys define the terrain after or before turn zero?
We defined it before turn zero.
Okay, so if you would have defined it the river difficult, there's a clear advantage to one side. And let me guess, Grayson didn't steal blue player.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, that's good because that means that he knew that there was advantage on one side, and there would have been a clear advantage to one side if he had defined it as difficult, right? That's the whole point.
But we didn't. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't defined that way. It's defined as open no cover, which didn't matter, because the only thing that
But
shifted
it
was
would have
moving.
mattered. It would have
But we
mattered if
didn't.
it was difficult.
But the way we ruled it, it didn't matter. So it didn't matter. And when we ruled the terrain, at that point, turn zero flipping cards, it didn't matter, because all he's contesting with now is a corner. Despite that, so that movement of terrain right there, the only thing it affected was moving, because there was still a big giant building on the right side, and then kitty quarter to that was another, like a wall that was line of sight blocking. The only thing that river impacted would have impacted was movement. When we ruled that it was no cover, no movement impacting, at that point there's really no disadvantage at that
Well,
point on
so
that
the
side.
reason why it mattered is because Grayson clearly thought he needed to pick table side, or else he wouldn't have stood blue.
No, he
He
took it. He
he
took it because the back corner he liked better.
right. So he clearly saw a side of the table that he liked better. That's why he stole it. It wouldn't have mattered if he didn't steal it, right? That's when the decision would have mattered. If he just left you with blue player. But there was a clear advantage to him.
I think
That's
he
why
was
he
still
stole
in
it.
it. He was still in it. I think he was still in it regardless.
What
If you want my honest opinion,
Well,
we could even ask him on Discord.
you,
When he walked up to the table, before anything was said and done, I saw he was like analyzing the table. I think at that moment he already had it dictated in his mind. And once again, Grayson, you could reach out to us on Discord. Tell me I'm wrong. I think he already had it predetermined that he was going to take blue, for the simple fact that I had moving walls in my aquas, and the way the table was set up.
were we gonna say, Nick?
He was still in it regardless, or he was going to try to walk away with it regardless.
Jose, were you on the side with the? Were you next to the MCP boxes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you were next to the MCP shelf.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what's so hilarious about this whole conversation?
You were thinking the opposite?
No, what's hilarious about this whole conversation is that Justin was blue player. We played shifting. He chose the other side.
He also had tanks.
But
That doesn't
but
matter
but that's the but like that's what's just so funny about this conversation. I mean, he chose the other side,
because
and
he
we
had
played the same.
tanks.
We played the same objectives.
He's not taking that if he doesn't have tanks.
I don't think that makes that much of a difference.
It does. Yeah, it does.
I don't think so.
Well,
That's two
anyways,
units.
it,
2 units.
um, yeah, I like
2 points
what they're doing.
matters.
I like where what AMG said about it. Asymmetric is the way to go. There's got to be a clear advantage to one side, or else the decision process doesn't matter. Before I let us go, because it's getting a little late, is there anything else you guys want to touch on that Notorious Scoundrels interview where Wills talked about something?
Yes. For the love of God, Edward, you watching this? I know you agree with me. Speak up, sir. Speak as the front man of the HH-12 bomb wagon. Get rid of cumbersome. I hate that. We have weapons in this game that I'm paying points for that I can only use for 4 of the 5 rounds. When they explained it, they basically said that it was something that was a holdover from last Legion, but at the same time, like, do they think it's fair that a unit rolls up and throws impact into your vehicle? I'm sorry, Will. I'm sorry, Will. I'm sorry, Will. But if you think that my little 3 dice RPS shot is gonna ruin any heavy unit's hide, and let's keep it 100. You're bringing maybe 2 or 3. You're saying zero now. Why do you think you're seeing zero now? Because of cumbersome. You are not seeing cumbersome heavies in this game. There's a reason, Will, because you only get to pay points using for 4. It's not gonna ruin a heavy day. It's not gonna impact heavies the way you think it is. And then what I disliked about that intro, we're never gonna get an interview with them, just letting you know, JR, just because of that.
You don't know.
Um,
You never know. I have hope.
um, um, and your reasoning for it was if you want your RPS, your cumbersome unit to fire turn 1, then take prepared positions. Yes, well, after you told me advanced intel has a 60% win rate, I'm gonna just dock out of my advanced intel so I can get prepared position on 2 RPSs because
You
you think
you will if
hard
there was three. If it was three
you
core options, yes, you will.
you think my little 3 dice RPS are gonna do a damn thing to most of these heavies? Come on, man. Come on. Get rid of cumbersome. It's just like plotting. Get rid of it. Just stop it. Stop being ridiculous.
Yeah, I honestly don't like the cumbersome keyword either. But because
Nick, what
yeah,
do you think? You don't have anything cumbersome in your army, do you?
yeah,
No.
it is in the MK.
Oh, I guess the
No.
MK still is, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But you
And
can
cumbersome.
move
and
and standby, right?
Cassian sniper rifle.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not playing the sniper rifle anymore, really, right? Nobody is in this Legion. His gun's better in this version.
Yeah, Cassian's not that great now, anyways.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with you, Jose.
Get rid of
Nick,
stationary. Let my dishes walk.
No!
they need to because they're just kind of like don't do anything.
Give them jump
Okay.
one.
Nick, anything you want to talk about before we head out?
No, I'm just sad I still have to wait one more month for
Yeah.
so.
Maybe we'll get at the end. I'm with you. I want it. I want to see it happen. But
Oh, it's happening.
what
It's
if
happening.
it doesn't? Are you quitting Legion?
No.
No, no. I just yeah, it's happening. It's happening. We're
Okay.
getting it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's
Getting
good
it.
thoughts. Good thoughts. Good thoughts. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys' opinions and everything. And those that are still here, John always makes it to the end of these. I know it. We talk about it. Thank you for being here, my man. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
Yeah.